Right, we're headed back. Hopefully no more vlogs until we get to Edmond. Tuxedo Cassavetes, my cat. And we're headed back, and we'll be cutting these shows. Probably either 9-part show, I don't really know yet. It may be less than that, hopefully, but sometimes it's 10-part, we'll have to see. I don't think I did a lot of monologues, so it could be a 5-part show. We'll be there at about 53 minutes. It takes 47 miles. Probably around 10:15, 10:20, depending on if we have a stop, if we make a stop or something. All right. Y'all have a good night, good luck, and Godspeed. We'll see you whenever we feed the cat. PJ Harvey has this song, I Inside the Old, I Dying. It looks like a pretty good one. I'm not a huge fan of PJ Harvey, but they have a documentary that's free right now that's going on Netflix. So check them out. PJ Harvey. I don't know a lot about them. They have a new song. I think it's a female band thing. Someday I'm going to take that coffee break with Al Pacino. I was going to say cappuccino, but you know what I mean. Al's a good guy. He's 82 years old. He just had a baby. That's a heck of a man right there. That's an age to have a child at the age of 82. His girlfriend's like, shoot, I don't even know. She looks like she's maybe 30 at the most. I think she's 29. I think his girlfriend is. But he's 82 years old. He's got a 29-year-old pregnant girlfriend. That's a heck of a man right there. We're not talking about a grandfather. We're talking about a new father at 82 years old. He's also a grandfather too, but still a new father at 82. And that child is going to be a movie star too. 100% if he wants that. That's a heck of a man right there. Al Pacino. This is the new parking garage right here. WIS. International. They're still leasing though. It's a 214 number. It's right over by Carrollton Parkway. Right in the city limits of Carrollton. That's where I live. Lynn and I lived there for about a year. Right in the center. The coyotes used to come out right there in the center. So that light is right to the left of that light. We lived right there right there. Had a patio and everything, right there. That's where we lived. That's the mansions at Sunset Ridge. Because she would speak in tongues in the middle of the night. They didn't like that. So I think it's freedom of religion. Carrollton, entering into Louisville, and when you have the windows down, you'll smell the trash dump. Pretty much right here. Try to see it. That's the fence protecting it. See the trees right here. Over here is where the vultures roost. Got them all. Vultures that will roost there. That's the trash dump. That's the tree. They used to have a problem up here with that green light. Oh my gosh, I still haven't fixed it. This green light is upside down right here. You can see it through the rearview mirror. Here's part of it. And there it is right there. It's upside down. I look at the rearview mirror. I could kill somebody if they go the wrong way. They probably will one day. Railroad. El Taco. That's the Jason's Deli I got trespassed at right there. The female cop that did it while I was eating salad. So I called the manager of CUNT about 60 days prior. I had spent my first 4th of July without my wife and kids. So I was upset because she had a problem with giving me pepper and wanted to get up at my grill on their table whenever this bowl of egg yolk spilt. So they currently trespassed me from that Jason's Deli right there, which is right down the road from where I lived, which was at the Mansions. It was the closest Jason's Deli. I had to always go to the Stonebriar Jason's Deli, which is further away. I don't know if I'm going to come back to Carrollton, to be honest, when I move to Dallas. I really don't know. But I'm not going to go out where I'm at. You know, what was crazy about Maine is I didn't want to go out at Maine. For 17 months, I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd say, if you're going to leave this place, you have to simply leave. You have to get up and go. And then one day, finally, I paid month to month at this place. Finally, I just got all my stuff together and left. That about 2 months later, I'd meet my wife, Angel, and about 6 months after meeting her, we would get married. And 7 months after meeting her, I'd be expecting my first child, my son, David. And a year later, I'd be expecting my first daughter, named Elizabeth. I call her Lizzie. 3 years later, we'd expect our third child, another daughter. Called her, or we named her Gwendolyn. She's the child of Hope. Her middle name's Hope. I have 3 children. If you're watching this, you probably don't. But don't worry about it. Don't ever lose hope. Al Pacino just had his 4th child at the age of 82. So he beat me. But it's not over yet. They're hiring positions at McDonald's right there and at Chick-fil-A. Managers make $70,000 a year at a fast food establishment. That's what you make. Especially Panda, you probably make $90,000 a year at Panda as a manager. It's a full-time position. You're real responsible. That old guitar player that reminded me of Blaze Foley, he'd play at this racetrack right here. He's not there tonight, though. I don't know if he's around anymore. Right down the road from Music City Mall, passing Rockbrook Drive. There's a car wash over that way. It's a hand car wash. There's a chapel right next to Chapel Hill. Luxury apartments right there. Next to that is a Popeyes. Probably make about $60,000 a year as a manager at Popeyes. Any management fast food establishment you'll do pretty well at. There's a historic chapel right there. Arby's, probably $75,000 a year as a head manager. If you own those, you even make more. So if you own the franchise, or if you buy into the franchise, you make even more. We're gonna spin around and head back to Fort Worth. I don't have to. My cat's there, and I care about my cat. Once we spin around, I'll cut it off after we pie. Once we spin around, I'll cut it off after we pass the homicide board. Reason why I call it the homicide board is because when I would pass by it, there was always some guy's face on there for homicide. It's a pretty tough one. I call it the homicide board. We're going to see if anybody's on it today. Passed by it many times. There's a purple right there. Still have my children. All three of them. One of my favorite numbers besides 7. I always say 8's enough. There's the homicide board. Let's see who's on it. Nobody. Violent crimes in Dallas. They have more property crimes or property related crimes in Fort Worth. It's mostly like damaged property crimes. It's very high in Fort Worth. In Dallas, it's mostly homicides that are really high. They have a problem with homicides in Dallas. True story. Look it up. Look it up on the demographics. More people get killed in Dallas than they do in Fort Worth. True story. We'll be in Fort Worth in 27 minutes from this point. Danny Whitworth, the brother of Johnny Whitworth from the movie Empire Records. He also worked with Francis Ford Coppola and The Rainmaker. His brother helped me move. He helped move my mattress all the way from Carrollton to Fort Worth. He helped carry the mattress up the stairs to my new place. And I would drop it off the U-Haul down the road in the middle of Fort Worth. All right, we're headed back. It's a true story. Is a famous town. So Fort Worth has housed famous people. The most famous, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Thieves and outlaws, but they housed them. They were good though. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. But they got killed by the Mexican army. I don't think any of the law enforcement. Well, there was a guy named Wells, I think that was after him. I think it was Fargo. They call him Fargo, yeah. None of them really wanted to get him. They chased him, but they never got him. They had horses. They hung out with Etta Place. She ran a brothel in Fort Worth. She went to Mexico with them, finally, and the Mexican army killed them. They didn't get her, though. She went back to America. She was a Jewish lady that ran a brothel. Taylor Sheridan, famous screenwriter. He's a filmmaker too. He's directing Kevin Costner right now, Taylor Sheridan. He's a famous screenwriter that wrote Hell or High Water. He also wrote Sicario with Benicio del Toro. He's from Fort Worth. Pretty big deal. He tried to be a soap opera actor. He was an over-the-shoulder actor in Hollywood, and then he became very, very famous screenwriter and director, pretty much. He's going to be a director too. There's some jazz musicians that are from Fort Worth. There's Charles Baker, who is Skinny Pete, pretty famous. He's passed through Fort Worth. He used to work at Hip Pocket Theater. I worked at Hip Pocket Theater. Johnny Simons is pretty famous. He's a mime that lives here in Fort Worth. Who is that up there? The billboard right there. Like Dolly Parton. Willie Nelson he has come through Fort Worth quite a bit in his early career. He was known to be at Billy Bob's. He was a Billy Bob hangout guy. And he's been through Fort Worth. Lived here, I don't know. You might want to ask around. The rumor on not Joan Baez, it was, no, I heard a rumor Joan Baez lived here, but I don't know if that's true. I think the rumor is Janis Joplin had come through Fort Worth. Ann Rice lived in Denton. I lived in Denton for a while. But Ann Rice did live in Denton, Texas. But yeah, the rumor is Janis Joplin lived here in a little apartment before she, went back to California and became very famous. That was the rumor. I'm just going on rumor only on this. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the Hole in the Wall gang, they did have a place in Fort Worth. They don't know where, though. Etta's Place, they have a memorial to Etta Place, who was the Jewish brothel runner. She was basically like she ran a Jewish brothel. She was a madame. But she took kindly to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Kind of went full circle right there. I heard a rumor Charles Bukowski had passed through Fort Worth. There were some rumors about that. I don't know 100% if that's true. They need a society of famous people of Fort Worth. People that have come through Fort Worth that are... Now, John F. Kennedy did land in Lovefield, but I think he came to Fort Worth. The night before he was assassinated, he had stopped by Fort Worth, and the Secret Service said he was acting very strange, walking in and out of the crowds, not really making a whole lot of sense. He said he had kind of erratic behavior because the next day he was to appear in Fort Worth. The next day he was to appear in Dallas, where he would be assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, according to the history books, if that's what we're going to go on. But yeah, he stopped the night before his assassination. So we know that he was assassination. Okay, we're going to start over. We know that he was assassinated on November 22nd of 1963. It was 11/22/63. And we know that he was assassinated. So 11/21/63, he came to Fort Worth. He did give a speech, and he was walking around in the public, in crowds and stuff, at a certain hotel. And the Secret Service had to kind of keep up with him. They said he was acting weird. The next day, he would be going down Houston by Dealey Plaza with his wife right next to him and one of the governors sitting before them. A shot would ring out from the Texas Book Depository, and that shot would pierce through his neck, not killing him. The second shot would bounce off Dealey Plaza. The third shot would land right on the scalp of his head, peeling the bone back. Abraham Zapruder, an amateur home movie maker, he made home movies, changed the world by releasing his footage to government officials and allowing them to use it in the media. It was the home movie that changed the world. Abraham Zabruta. He did that. He was a tailor in Dallas. We're in Fort Worth right now. JFK was there. They've got a memorial in Fort Worth of JFK. Because he was here the day before he was assassinated. I'll make the movie myself. That's what I'll be known for. God will help me. I'll succeed. I'll be a self-made filmmaker. Multi-millionaire. A multi-millionaire. And I'll never once in the future stutter or clamor a single word. All right, St. Paul Lutheran. Get up and pray. Luke 22:46. Luke was an apprentice to Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul, the greatest criminal of all time. He was known as Saul. He was the chief of all sinners. He was the worst person in the world. He was on the road to Damascus when a lightning strike fell before him, blinding him. And God cried out, "Saul, why do you persecute me?" I change you. Your name is now Paul. And he became Paul, eventually writing letters to several different churches. One church, Ephesus, where he wrote Ephesians. Another one, Corinthians. Some say he wrote Hebrews, Colossians. Many letters to the churches explaining to them that law is not the way into heaven. You can only enter into heaven by being in Christ. You cannot purify your soul with legalism. Saul, why do you persecute me? I change your name to Paul. Follow me. Y'all have a good night. There he is, my little guard kitty. Edmund, guarding the fort. Yes, you are a good kitty. Well, guess what? That's right. You get cat food. Now, what's your tail? He likes to put his tail right under my foot. There we go. And we have it for summer. The Magic Mash. The other one went missing. We have a new one. Light. And this is our new project, which we will be working on. Now, there he is. The one and only lazy kitty. And he is getting cat food tonight, so do not worry. We do love our cat. Did you eat up all? No, he didn't eat all his dry food, you lazy kitty. He still has plenty of dry. He is a good kitty, but he does bite. Look at that kitty. Look at that big belly. Look at him. Look at those frog legs. Yes, he burr. Look at that kitty. Yes, he is. All right. I got it in here. Had a pretty interesting day. It's getting better. So things are starting to level off since the assault/citizen's arrest. Okay? I'm giving both ends of it. I see it as assault. Others see it as citizen's arrest. Maybe both. It had to be done. God's will. There's no fighting it. Now we know. I'll get over it eventually. I think I have post-traumatic something. Okay. Now, when you think you're going to die and you go through a certain amount of pain, then that happens. There is the bistro.